Hi, it's Belinda here. I've got my coffee in my keep cup. Well, it's not a keep cup, but it's basically a cup I can reuse. And I'm here and you're here, which is more important. So I've realised just the other day that I haven't told you about what it was like going on You Can't Ask That. So let's talk about that. So there's a bit of a backstory here that really doesn't have anything to do with You Can't Ask That, but I thought I'd add it anyway. So when I was 17, which is a long time ago, it's 29 years ago, I'm 46 now. So when I was 17, what I wanted to do was something. I have a lot of things going for me, and I knew that I had a voice. People listened to me. So even back then, I wanted to do something. And I remember one night I was at home by myself. My parents had gone out, my siblings had gone out, so it was just me. It's pretty rare that I was home alone. So what I did was I went into the bathroom and I tried on some makeup. You probably notice I don't wear much makeup. I have a bit of makeup on my chin. That's totally okay. I'll explain that later. But basically, I went into the bathroom and for an hour I tried on different lipsticks and whatever that I don't wear now. And so I was basically looking at myself in the mirror for an hour. I don't have any problem with that at all. Then I thought, okay, well, I've had enough of this, and I wiped it all off and went into the lounge room, and nobody's at home except me. So I go into the lounge room and I turn the TV on, and there's a late movie on. And I noticed something about this movie that for me was really odd. And I was wondering about how they cast all these different looking people. See, the thing is, I'm watching this movie and they've cast all these people with flat top lips. It's like, wow, I just like, that's incredible. Like 30 years ago, they've cast this movie with people with all flat top lips. So I'm literally sitting there for half an hour just going, wow, this is incredible casting. I don't know where they found all these people. And then I realised that it was actually me that was different. I don't have a flat top lip. I have this. I quite like it. In fact, I like it a lot. There's a story to it that I'm not going to tell you here. But it took me half an hour to realise that I was the person who was different, and that pretty much everybody has a flat top lip. So with that realisation, I wondered to myself a question that I wonder most of the time now, although things are changing rapidly and I'm so pleased they are. I wondered to myself at the age of 17, why aren't there people with facial differences on television? Do you remember my video on HAVE? HAVE, where I said that people were either in hospital or an alien, or I think I used the victim one, victim or villain or evil. And basically, if you have a facial difference, especially back 30 years ago, that was just the way it was. You were one of those four. So if you're living a normal life in a normal world, you don't get to see yourself on TV. Okay, so that's when I was 17, and so I tried to find opportunities to get my face on TV. Now I did some pretty funny things, like I would cold call talent agencies and say, look, I want to get my face on TV, and they'd say, well, what can you do? I said, no, you're kind of missing the point. I want to get my face on TV. And I remember one woman saying, well, why don't you find a group of people like yourself and represent them? And I'm like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the exercise. So I had a couple of attempts. There was one where the place that I worked at had a big open planned office, and a camera crew came in after we'd won a big award to put us on the news. And so there must have been about 100 people in this big open planned office, and the cameraman did this whole pan around the office, and I'm standing here, and the cameraman and I eyeball each other, and we both know I was not going to be in that pan shot. So, oh well. That's strike one. Strike two was quite a few years later, when the building that I lived in at the time had an open day that I helped organise. I was one of the main organisers for this open day. News came around, cameras came around, and as one of the organisers, guess where I ended up in the story? You guessed it, the last screen of the last part of the story. So, you know when news stories have an end bit? Well, I was at the end of the end bit. I think the shot lasted for a minute fraction of a second. So, oh wow, I made the news. The third one was a little bit more successful. There's a really great group in the UK called Changing Faces. If you get a chance to see their site, changingfaces.org.uk. They're fantastic, and I highly recommend their site. I'm not exactly sure because it was quite a while ago. I think it was about 10 years ago. They had a campaign where you would go on your local news and talk about these issues. So I actually did that. I actually called our local channel up and I said, look, there's this campaign, and they came up, and I did a fake tutorial with all my colleagues who were my students. It was really fun. But at the same time, while it raised awareness, what it also said was, oh, she's so special. And yeah, so tiny, minute steps forward. Fast forward to 2016, last year. Now, mind you, I've been trying for 30 years to get my face on TV. At the time of the invitation, I was actually quite depressed, and I'll explain why I was depressed probably in the next video when I talk about that. It's not a depressing topic, but you'll probably understand why I was depressed when I talk about it. So I was pretty depressed, and I see this email, and it's like, all my Christmases have come at once. This is exactly what I want to do. I'd seen the first series of You Can't Ask That, and I thought, if I don't do this, I will regret it for the rest of my life. So I said maybe, and I kept the option open. And then they came back to me a few weeks later. They said, we'd really like you to say yes or no now. I said, yes, I'll do it. So yeah, I was invited via email to do it. I am so pleased I did it. I'd been waiting for 30 years for this opportunity to just be myself and to represent myself on TV. I think one of the things that people don't appreciate, that, as I said kind of before, that if you don't see yourself on TV, if you don't see yourself in the media, then you kind of don't have a place in your society. It's a bit hard to explain at the moment, but media is very powerful. It informs people about not only news and events, but attitudes as well. So I had a blast. It was just so much fun to just meet these great people who were so open-minded and willing to take that step towards including people who are never included. So yeah, I had a great time. It was the first time travelling from Newcastle to Sydney was the first time that I'd used public transport in about 6 months. It was a really great experience. Had no trouble. Coffee. Made sure I got the quiet carriages. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so that's basically the story. I came home and I thought, if I don't make use of this, I'm an idiot. So I set up the Facebook page, Coffee with Belinda Downs. And then I set up this YouTube channel. So basically, that's my story. It was just really great opportunities and making the most of those opportunities, and yeah, I'm really glad I did You Can't Ask That. I've got so much really positive feedback. So yeah, that's basically the story in a nutshell. A little bit more complicated than you might have thought, but you know, it's okay.